inviting Eric today to go over FLAIR'S downstairs supersized custom glass wall that divides his lower level living room into his Four Seasons room. So this thing is massive and we're going to go over some of the details so we can start building it. Hey Eric, a couple things today what I want to talk about is the room downstairs, a big glass wall we got to build. But under here, this fireplace, I can't have combustible, so I need you to make a steel plate. I don't know, what do you think? Would it be, is it a 1/4 inch? Is that too thick? Or just something that reflects? I need a heat reflector.
Heat reflector.
Yeah.
Right. I think 1/8 inch is probably good.
An 1/8, okay. No, I didn't know. No, I don't think that's, I'd rather not see it.
Sure.
1/4's just good. So we have to really kind of stay about over to here. So I don't know, what's that, 12 inches? I think, what is that, a foot? I think I estimated like 6 feet. Is this 4 foot? This much like 3.
36.
Oh, that's 36?
Yep.
Okay. 5 foot.
Okay.
And then, you know, just hold it, stay short of the face. This is low. Some of the viewers are telling us that this mount looks low, and I think they're right. I don't know, Wayne's got to come back. So whatever's happening here might have to be redone, but they also have to finish this. So if you have to pull that off and that off, that'd be nice if you didn't have to, but let me go a foot past. Yeah, that's just that one stone's in the way right there. So then we have to do it downstairs too.
Okay.
So let's look at that fireplace and the big glass walls. All right, so we're getting pretty far ahead. The whole basement's already painted, Eric, so we're probably timing's just right for the big custom glass wall. This is that big custom wall. We've talked about it earlier, but now Tom has got it all trimmed out. Hopefully this thing is square. We had a little problem last time at our Street of Dreams, but you worked your magic and fixed it. This is one where you said we've measured before. I thought we had to do one panel that's going to be 12 foot. I didn't know if this panels are big enough to go 6 and 6, 6 foot, 6 foot. That would be ideal, so that one slides right back into the other. I see this as the fixed panel. The traffic's going to be coming right through here, so that'll be perfect. It kind of hits right at the end of the bar, which gives this all wide open. And then all this will just be a fixed piece of glass, so you'll be able to see into the bar. It doesn't make sense for it to go both ways. Is that too hard?
It's not too hard. Anything's possible.
Really?
We could definitely do that.
Do we see a need for that?
Maybe that's a homeowner question.
I could ask him that one there. Let me ask him. For sure, this one is the traffic pattern. It doesn't make sense entering the room and coming in behind the bar.
I mean, that's not a bad look. I mean, if you're out here, you could leave them centered at 6 foot, leaving you 3 foot walkways on both sides.
That could be interesting. This hangs from the ceiling.
Correct.
Okay. So there's no track in the floor where someone can trip over?
No, just there'll be a piece right in the middle just to keep it from swinging.
A bracket.
That's it,
Okay,
yes.
that holds the two together.
Right.
That's not a bad idea. I just came up with that one.
There you go.
Okay, well, good. I'd like to come out to your shop when you make this to show. I'd like to see how you do this.
Sure, I can do that.
Can I help out a little bit?
For sure.
I'm not real handy, but I can sweep up, clean up. I can.
Whatever you can handle.
Okay, perfect. I'll be there. Let me know when that happens. So another thing, Eric, this is the gun vault. We should look at the vault door. I'm wondering if I need to have you make a steel frame for it to set in, because this is concrete. That's concrete, but the door's not that big. We're going to be making a hidden cabinet, like a bookshelf that opens up, but we got to mount the vault door clear back in here because that swings out as well.
Got it.
Do you want to go look at it and see what we need to do? It's over here, all protected. Kind of want to open this thing up too. Do not open until Christmas. Well, we're way past that. What is it? It's not a bike. Man, this is the real deal. Woo-wee. That's pretty. There, wow, man, jeez. Hope it doesn't come down. That is one heavy door. Good grief. Look at that baby. We should measure. I always come without a tape measure. I tell people, go to a job site and ask someone on the job site if they have a tape measure. 8 times out of 10, they don't. 45, almost 45.5 inches. This all comes off. This is the back side. Oh my God, that does fill up the whole hole. 47. Do I need to tear some? Might have to tear some of this out. That works out perfect. So if I'm going concrete to concrete, I don't know why I was thinking that door was smaller. What do you think? What do we
It's made so that it slides in and then you bolt the back on, so that whole space in between.
So the whole thing slides in here. What if you had your steel frame?
We can build it out of steel and you can slide it right up to the steel as well.
Yeah, I think that would be. Let me check for height. I never checked these measurements. Bad. 87. Ooh, that's close. 85 and a half. So then you would build, this all comes off. You would put your steel frame right against there.
I can make a box out
Right here.
so that when it slides in,
It
then
hits
this
against
comes
it
in.
and that
Right.
secures it tight
Right.
so it doesn't tip. See, every time you come out here, Eric, I give you more work. There's always something else to do. We could use your help to set that big booger. Yeah, you got any tips? You guys are always moving heavy steel around your shop. What do we use to move this thing?
We use big equipment, so
Oh.
if you want to bring something in, otherwise just get enough
Just
man
enough guys here. It sits on a steel pallet, and maybe if you just got a jack, a couple car jacks, you could slide it under there, jack it up, and maybe roll it.
Sure, it'll slide right in.
Okay.
You've got
We probably want to
less
get
than a
this
half
in
inch.
before the floor goes in.
That would be
That's what
preferred.
we need to do. So we should start working on this thing now. Okay, perfect. All right, well, that'll be exciting. So we got the fireplaces, you got to build the big custom door, and then the ultimate vault door. Once you figure this thing out, maybe then we'll have a shortcut, do it at my house. I don't know, these are pretty pricey. So to get a really nice finish, we have all the cabinets already installed in the house. That way when we trim, we go right up to it. It looks like furniture. So all this has been protected by the painter. And then this is the bathroom for the pool. And these floors, if you remember, these guys were laying all that herringbone tile. So all that's been protected as well. They got this cabinet. This thing fit in here with like 1/4 of an inch. I have no idea how they got it in the room. Well, I know how. They actually, if you come in here, they had to tear part of the casing off to get this to slide back. That's how tight the fit was. Throughout the entire house, as the painters make their way in, they'll cover, this is the countertops are already installed, the cabinet's in place, the hardware's on, there's a sink under there. We're missing the faucet. That will come towards the end. Once the painters get out of the way, electricians will show back up, and then the plumbers show up, and that's where multiple subs will come back in. So what we're planning on doing is starting with the lower level, finishing that, and slowly working our way up so we can just start stacking the subs. So as the painters get done here, they move upstairs, and the electricians come down, and the painters come down. Our floors are already done with the tile, but then the next flooring is the LVT. So that will happen pretty close about the same time as when the electricians show up. So there'll be a lot of people here, but the house is big enough to handle multiple subs. My job at that time is to keep peace and keep things flowing so nobody gets mad, packs up their stuff, and goes home, because that has happened. All right, I'm gonna show you guys another change that Andrew came up for me. Remember, we're always making changes here, which that's what custom homes are all about. So we're now behind the Four Seasons bar area. This is what goes to the big sports court. I don't know what, like a little small town, not sure what it is, but we had 2 entrances into this, and we decided, is to just have 1 entrance. And when you come to this back room, it looked like an unfinished area, and I agree with Andrew and Macy. Now we're going to finish it all off. So when you come to this back hall to get to the sports court, we framed all this in. This will be some double doors. Framed this in, so this will all be drywall. There'll be another door that will go to storage, and that can also lead outside to the pool. But as you come around, this takes you right back in to the Four Seasons room. So the idea is when you're in the Four Seasons room hanging out here and the kids and people want to go to the sports court, you just go right through this door and you enter right into sports court. So that makes a lot of sense. You never really go from finished house to unfinished house. It just stays finished all the way through, so it really connects the home, and I like that idea, what they came up with. I'm going through my texts. I just got one from Macy. They were here at the house this weekend. It says, we went through the house and we're not seeing a pot filler. Well, I did not know about a pot filler. Pot filler is right over the cooktop. This is supposed to have plumbing in the wall, so somehow that got missed. We do make mistakes, but I'm wondering if it was a selection that came late or what have you, but I'm gonna reach out to the plumber and make sure he can get a pot filler, and whether it's on the list or not, they want one because they have one in their house now. I've never put a pot filler in. I think they're crazy because if you put a shower in your house, you need a drain. You put a sink in your house with a faucet, you need a drain. Put a pot filler above your stove, no drain, whatever. So this was left open because there was a issue with this wall. You say, fix the hump in the wall. There's a slight hump, and I mean, it's like 1/4 of an inch or less, 1/8, but because of this supersized slabs, this onyx is going on top. You can't have any wiggle room. So thank God We did not get that put on last week, so we would have had to take that off to get this pot filler in. I'm gonna walk around the other side and see if there's any plumbing that can work with this, because the sink and the plumbing's here on the island, but let me see what's on the back side. On the back side is their pantry, microwave. We do have a sink here, so maybe the plumber can find a way to move around and get this section into here to make this pot filler work. So I don't think it's gonna be easy, but everything's possible. This is on me and the plumber because we missed it. So stay tuned for the pot filler update. All right, I just got message. Another thing that Macy was out here and pointed out, which is a good one, is that these windows are black inside and outside, and the sliding glass doors come with wood. They're not a clad. So downstairs, we caught the mistake. They painted, we want to paint all the casing and everything around the same color, but because the windows are black, we need to come in and not paint this white. This needs to be black, so all the windows match in the house. So I have to have the painters redo the ones downstairs and make sure this gets painted black upstairs. So good catch, Macy. Hey, I'm here at Eric's shop. He does all the welding. You've seen some of his work. I've never been to his shop before. He's out here in the country, and so he's invited me to come out. We're gonna start working on, look at his dog. He's got a good looking, I made a friend. All right, buddy. Anyway, so we're going to meet with Eric and start laying out and building. He's gonna show me FLAIR'S big, huge custom sliding glass wall that divides this great room to his bar. So he's done this once before with me on a Street of Dreams house. So now I'm gonna see it in live action. So I'm bringing you guys along. Eric, this is quite the place you got here. Man, all right, so good, yeah. So Eric's our guy that builds all the fancy, cool stuff. And I didn't know your shop was this massive. And my gosh, have you, is this a family business, or did you?
Yes, 86 is when we started in Omaha and moved up here in 92.
Wow, okay. Well, now I know why you need such a huge shop. That we'll take a little tour and you'll show me what's going on for FLAIR'S. Have you started working on his door?
Yeah, we've got it starting in production. We've
all
got all the drawings done and ready to start cutting.
All right, so I'll, if you need any help, I can hold the heavy stuff.
All right, well, let's get you some safety goggles.
Oh yeah, safety first around here. Perfect. What's your dog's name?
Athena.
Athena. I made a friend. She likes me. All right. I think I look better in blue. Do you mind? Yeah. Blue's my color. All right. So, okay. All right. So we'll just kind of wing it and see how we go. We got the two big glass panels. I told the guys last time we did this, we had to do the math on what the glass weighs.
Right. All that calculation's been done.
Do you remember what that was per square foot, that glass? Was it like 25 or 30 pounds?
Per square foot, I'm not sure. I believe each door is about 200 pounds.
200 pounds of glass. Yes. Okay, so we gotta make sure the steel not only holds it, but the hinges and all,
and
everything else. So
we want to make sure.
I have all the trust and confidence in you. Do I get to wear one of those fancy hoods? No?
Sure.
We're welding, or
we can weld today as well.
Oh, well, all right. Now I'd like to just watch. I can get in a lot of trouble when you guys put tools in my hands. Look, I can't even get the bag open. Ugh. All right, there we go. Got it. So walk us through what's going to be happening here.
We get paperwork ready. Everything's in the tree, and we can look at it and go down the list and start cutting.
So here it is. This is the door. Doesn't look. There's not a lot of drawings because it's just a big square door. But are they? I can't remember. Did we keep them even, or did we go?
They're going to bypass, so the middle pieces are going to sit right in front of it.
Right in front of it. So, but we're two equal pieces?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Because at one time we thought it might be too big where we had, it's a 12-foot opening roughly?
Roughly, yes.
Okay, so at one time we thought we'd go 7 feet of fixed glass, 5 feet of moving, but the bigger, I like it split in half.
Right, when you open it, the second one's going to disappear.
So that will be fantastic. And we're using what size of metal?
We're using 2-inch square tubing.
Okay, and then our painters will paint this, right? Typically, are we going to send this out and get it powder coat?
Powder coat.
Oh, yes. We're going to powder coat it, so it's all nice, solid finish. All right, that's right. You do it right.
That's right. A little bit stronger, more durable.
Okay, so this is it. We're starting with right here.
Yep, this is our tube right here.
Okay.
We made the first cut on the end. We're miter cutting everything at a 45.
Okay, so here's the first cut's already been made down here.
That's right.
This is are we doing the top or are we doing the legs? What are we doing here?
This is the height. This is
the tall piece. Okay. Right. All right, so I'm gonna stand back.
Tight. Yep. There you go.
So here it is. She's coming down. Oh, it's all automatic. I was hoping I got to pull the lever, but
You
it's.
can.
Oh, I can, but you've done enough of the lever pulling that you're going to have to let the button do the hard stuff. That's how tall this burger's going to be. Wow.
Yes,
So.
That's a big opening.
So we got 10-foot ceilings down there, and we just dropped the header a little bit. We're probably, what are we, a little over 9 foot, maybe?
We are 105 3/4 by the time we get our channel at the top.
105 3/4. You guys got to do the math. You got to divide that by 12 and figure out how many feet that is. So 96 inches is 8 foot. So
105 3/4 on the dot.
okay. So what is that? 8 foot what?
8.5 foot.
8.5. Okay. See, I did the math for you. So one down, and we've got
3 more.
three more to go because you're just making the one. And you've already made the other one ahead of time, or not? No.
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 we
Oh.
didn't get to it.
Darn, okay, so he's a little behind schedule, but it looks like we're bringing him back up the schedule. I don't know if you guys have ever been one of these places. It's got a ton of metal. It's been hard to get stuff. What would you say this piece costs right here, roughly? It's a 10-footer?
This is a 20-footer. They're $3 a foot.
$3 a foot, okay.
One thing that I need to make sure when I'm cutting these, it has this seam, and that will show just slightly when you paint it. So I want to make sure that's to the inside so the glass covers it.
Oh, see
So
that
we've
little
got-
seam right here? I'd never realized there'd be a seam on this metal. So that's where it joins up. You have to sand that at all? Will that
we
help?
will.
You will, and that will help make it go away? Because I've never seen it on your stuff before, so you're doing good. I got to ask, how often do you have to change that blade that's cutting steel or
500
metal?
cuts.
500?
to 1,000 cuts.
And then
if
what's
you
a
wanna keep
blade?
it.
What do you got to spend on that? Is that a couple
We
$100?
can get them sharpened.
Oh,
So after we get so many, we send them off, get them sharpened, $75.
so
to
it's
get 'em
just the
sharpened.
cost of doing business.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Okay. So instead of cutting this in half, you'll just cut this at another 45 again, right?
Right.
So you don't have any waste. You don't want me to pull the lever one of these days? Yeah. You're having all the fun. So Eric, I noticed you whipped that through pretty quick. How did you know we were right on the money to cut that? Did you have it?
We've
you
got
had
to stop. We've got to stop right
Oh,
here. That's set.
okay. So he slides that pipe all the way through, and he's already got this tightened down so it hits. He measures twice, cuts once. I still didn't get to push the button.
Last one. Okay.
So there's 3. One more to go, right?
One more that way.
I see. You're cutting all the legs for all 4, and then you'll come and do the headers and the bottom piece. Gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
My turn. Which one? Start. Okay, fire in the hole. You see? That was kind of anticlimactic. I was expecting a little more. So how big of metal do you sometimes can you cut with this machine?
This will do 4-inch square.
4-inch square. Okay.
Yep, 4-inch square.
And then you got to go with the bigger blade, and bigger, or is
That's the maximum height. If we
Look at
get
this.
any bigger, we're going into the bandsaw,
I see.
which isn't quite as accurate and fast, but
Oh, I see.
when
But
you
it,
get big stuff, that's what it takes.
oh, I get to push the button
push it
again.
again.
Look at that, I'm on a roll here. You're too kind to me. All 4 of the legs, because there's 2 big windows, as we know, so now he's got to cut the bottom pieces that are not as long. Look at that, is one big tape measure. Looks like you've done a lot of extra work here between 50 and 48 inches. It's kind of wore out. You're obviously a second generation, or a third?
Second generation.
Second. So I heard you say, Eric, your family, you did all these storage racks like in, you said in department
Yeah,
stores?
department stores, fixtures, jewelry racks, clothing racks,
No
that
kidding.
type of item.
So what caused you to get out of that? Is it just a,
store closings, big
Oh.
box store, we're going away from that. Everything's going Amazon. And,
isn't that something?
and
You would never
the-
think that those big box stores that affect you guys right here making the fixtures. So we're all connected one way or the other, aren't we, in this world?
Yeah.
While Eric's cutting all these things, I'm gonna have Brandon pop up and show you this beautiful custom metal hood that he did for that big multi-million-dollar remodel. It turned out beautiful. By the way, thanks Eric for sneaking that one in quick because it was a forgotten hood. And as you know, they moved in and they're tickled to death. The thing turned out beautiful. Now I have to have one of those. Save the plans. One down, 3 more to go. I'm amazed at all the inventory that he has. Look at all this stuff from all the different sizes. Looks like that's stainless steel, or is that galvanized aluminum? Huge steel plates.
That's the 7/8. That's most of the handrails that I do. Those are going to be the horizontals. That's just mild steel, but that comes directly from the mill. So it's a higher quality tube than the black tube than you're going to get.
Okay. Yeah, it looks really nice. Does that means it paints up way better or something?
Yes, paints. Typically, we would use that to do chrome.
Oh.
Chrome has to have, what you see on the tube is what you get with the chrome finish, because chrome is really almost a clear coat. If you send in a black tube, it's going to look black when it gets chromed over, and it's not going to, it's going to be a terrible finish. So we want to make sure we get the highest quality tube when we're doing anything in chrome.
Oh wow! So do you take that to a place that chromes it?
Yeah, a chrome plater.
Oh, I see. Just no different than the people that powder coat. It's not the same guy. The powder coater is not a chromer. The chrome's dirtier, but it comes out way shinier. So you gotta get dirty to get shiny. This here is the Roomba of metal shops. That was Eric's first job. You gotta start somewhere, you guys. You don't always start by being the owner of the shop. He started pushing the Roomba around, cleaning up. As luck would have it, he now owns the place. Here's the last one, last cut, and then we're gonna start putting them all together. So we've built one of these before, and that's where I got the idea. Eric came to the rescue on my Street of Dreams house. There's a beautiful, it's not as big as this. This one's bigger. This one we're building here is way bigger, isn't it, Eric?
Yeah, we're a foot or two bigger both ways.
Yeah. And that definitely was a crowd pleaser. I won all kinds of awards on my Street of Dreams, and nobody had seen anything like it. So I had to put that in FLAIR'S house after he saw it as well. So here's a picture of what that looked like. So now what you doing, Eric? You're doing some math or writing notes. Did your wife call in an order for lunch? Is that what was that?
Keeping time.
Oh, okay. I gotta quit talking because I'm on the clock.
Money.
What the heck? Sorry, FLAIR. I'm talking too much, and your bill just went up another 30 bucks. If I had gloves, I could help you out there. Got these office hands. Want me to help you out with would that speed things up and get me back on track because I've been talking too much? All right, I got some in the truck. Wow, I'll be Joe today. Joe called in sick, so I'm taking over.
So this here is a time saver. It's just a sanding belt on a conveyor.
So we're gonna run it all through?
We're gonna run it through. Again, anything coming from the regular steel houses, we're going to have these rust marks and oil marks and things like that.
So that's all. That's what we're taking off.
Yep,
all
we're going
this.
to get all that off, and it's also going to help on the seam side to hide it.
All four sides?
Yes.
You have to keep rotating it. Okay. So 4 passes through to get her shined up. Gosh, I had no idea it was on the clock. Sorry, I'm going to quit talking and let him work. Eric said they're going to get warm, but I got Joe's gloves on, so they're doing the job. Big oven mitts. All right, I picked up 2 minutes of my 20-minute conversation, so I'm working on it, FLAIR. Sorry. We're missing one. No, I'm kidding. There should be 8. Doing it again. We got to do all 4 sides. It's getting shinier. Look at that. I had no idea all this was involved. He makes it look real easy when it all shows up to the job site. That's why I wanted to come here today.
This is called a scale, a hot rolled scale. Once we've taken that scale off, now the metal is going to be much easier to work with as well. So once we weld the corners and I have to grind them with a 4-inch grinding pad, we'll be able to make the finishes match a lot easier than if we still had this black scale on the tube.
I see. So this is what we're taking off, and this is what it looks like after we run it through. That's a big difference.
Huge difference. Everything doesn't always come perfect from the steel house.
Okay.
You'll find dents.
There's a little tiny one I see right there.
Little tiny one right there. I can fill that with weld, grind over it, make it smooth. You don't notice it until it's painted if you leave it like this. It's a lot easier to notice, so we can correct it before we get the paint on.
So there's a lot involved in this. I had no idea. Am I bringing this cart around for the next round? Okay, I got to get busy. Remember, we're on the clock. All right, so this is the last one, Eric. We're gonna start putting them together. This will build one door, and then we'll come back and build the second one. So this has all been time saved. Heading to the other part of the shop. Now what are you gonna be doing, Eric? What's the next step?
Now we're going to chamfer the edges. That way we can get good penetration with the weld rather than it just being a surface weld. Since we're gonna grind it back flush, we wanna make sure that it's way deep in there.
Okay, I'll stand back, you grind. So all this here we're seeing is kind of a rough cut is what you're taking down. Okay, so you've got all these babies all shined up. You can see how nice and smooth they are. Now we're going back this way again.
Going to the welding.
You do a lot of walking in this shop. Do the lights dim when you turn this thing on?
We've got 3-phase power in here.
Oh, yeah?
So it uses a lot less amperage.
I see. Okay, so it looks like the operating table. You're welding out there, not on this?
Nope, we'll be welding there, but...
Oh, I get it, what we're doing. All right, we're hitting the corners. So the type of welding you're going to be doing, what's the terminology for that?
This is MIG welding.
MIG welding, okay. There's MIG, TIG, and what else is there?
Oxyacetylene, spot welding.
A whole bunch, huh? That's just something to help. What does this piece here do?
That's going to compress it down and make sure that they're at the same...
it distributes it across, otherwise you're just hitting right on the seam.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we're smooth there.
So you want to make sure all that's smooth. So when you do this, sticks out a little bit. Is that just part of it?
Nope. We will adjust that next.
Oh, okay. Hey, I found a little adjustment that's necessary. That's all it takes. Just a little tap of the hammer, huh?
Yep.
All this creates a 90-degree. We've got all the clamps on to hold it in place.
We're perfectly square.
Okay, here's the helmet. We'll just stand back and don't look at the light. Is that the trick?
That's yours.
Oh, I get to wear this? Oh. Did I leave this off? Okay, let's get busy. I can't see a thing.
You won't see anything until you're looking at the light. That's not an auto.
Okay, I thought you gave me one of those helmets that the trick one in the shop that the new guy gets. Is this Joe's helmet? All right, this is the first for me, the training helmet. Hey, you got a cool one, man. He's got all the fancy designs. All right, lights out.
All right, you always tack everything in place first.
I thought all I saw was about 3 lights and it was over with. I don't even know how you see it. Tacked in place and all that comes off so it won't move on you now, huh?
Right.
Yeah, it's really dark in here. It's so dark. See it? Go a little closer. Get right down on it. Yeah, that's all I see. Yeah. That's about all it really looks like. I was expecting brighter lights, but I have no idea how Eric's able to weld when it's that dark under the hood, unless I've got the trick hood on again. I'm amazed. Look how hot that is. I put the camera on there. I'm amazed that you just see a little, I mean, you've probably done it so much, you kind of know what you're looking at. To me, it just looks like I see a green flash, and then...
Trade me.
Is yours a little...
I don't need to be able to see.
You can do it by I'm just curious. Oh, you got a little green lens on yours. So here's Eric's view, ticking in there. All right, go ahead. The fancier helmet has more of a green lens. That one's really dark, but still very difficult to really see what you're doing.
Sure. Obviously. It's not a completely clear view.
Yeah. So here, I'll give you your good helmet back. He's got to do that on all 4 corners. It's quite a process. Then we got to flip it over. I'm sure there's sanding and other things involved. We got to put glass in here, and we call it a stop. So he's got to put some piece of metal similar to this that he'll weld a chunk on here. It won't be that big, but then the glass will sit up against it so it won't fall in and out. So he's got to build this, and then he's got to build another frame inside that. So there's a lot of time involved, and that's why he's keeping track of it. So it's difficult to bid these because you don't do very many of them, but if he did several, then we'd have a pretty good idea on what it would cost to build one every single time. But play it safe with Eric. We'll just do time and materials. That way FLAIR'S not being overcharged and Eric's not losing money. It's a very fair way to do business when you're doing time and materials. Oh, there's the angle that the glass will sit in, and that's going to go
actually get put in.
Okay,
Like
right
that,
in there.
Welded in place.
Perfect. So that's the extra piece that Eric's got to add for the glass to sit right on here to go across. It'll look perfect when it's all done. You won't even know that there's a added little bar. You have to have it or the glass will fall out. What do you figure that temperature is? Do you have any idea? Couple thousand degrees. When do you think it's ready to flip it? You want me to grab a corner and you grab it?
If you want to grab that side, because with only one side being welded,
yeah,
until that bottom gets welded, we're
just
still pretty brittle. So
which way do you want to go?
You can go that way.
So here she is, all what he's done so far, getting this married up together. So remember he did all that welding right here? It's called slag. He now has to clean the table off from all that debris from welding. Otherwise this won't sit flat. So that's how you clean up in the shop when you're welding, I guess. Do you like that burnt metal smell? It doesn't smell like the bakery place, the donut lady. Oh, I brought donuts for you.
Hey,
yeah.
Connie?
Yeah, Connie's apple fritters. I got 2 for you. Make up for you allowing us to come in your shop and get in your way.
There.
If this table is like 40 years old, was it a lot thicker when you started? Keep grinding. Yeah, you just keep grinding her down. Somebody said is there dirt here? Or is it, where, or is it over here? I can't see, I need a mirror. I can't see where the dirt's at. All right, so the next step, Eric's got all the corners welded and now he's gonna start grinding all the welds to make them pretty. All right, stand back. So Eric's taking that grinder and all this welding is going to be ground down and it'll look nice and smooth like the top. So that's why we're seeing all the sparks. Eric, do you do all that by feel? I mean, it's a visual thing, right? But can you overdo it?
Definitely. You can grind right through that steel.
So
if it's too thin, you can go right
through it. So otherwise, then you'll create a dip and that. So you've done it for so long, you just kind of know where you need to be at, right?
Yes.
And then so these corners. So are you satisfied with that, or is there still some more work?
We're getting a new pad.
Oh, he maxed out the pad. We're going for a new one. Ow, that is hot. Well, no wonder. There's a hole in my glove. Jeez, where's Joe at? I got to talk to him about his equipment that he keeps around here. Look at that. That's not where a finger is supposed to come through on my glove. Just a little bit of a light burn. It'll soak right out with a little cold ice cube. It actually isn't that bad. It's a nice round circle. I had to sample one of Connie's donuts, but look what I'm bringing for Eric. That's a beautiful thing. The world famous apple fritter. A small little cinnamon roll as a kicker. I think he'll be happy with that. Just got a little dirt here, a little bit right there, and somebody tells me there's some right here. Here or here, I'm not sure. We'll get that in the laundromat. Okay, so what's the next step, Eric? The dye. Holy cow.
We're just gonna clean up the edges.
I've never seen one of those. So that's just look how nice and shiny it is already. Well, you guys got to see this. So look at, here is the after. You can't even tell where you join this up together. And here's what it looked like before. That's amazing. That is so cool. 1 down, 4 more to go. 2 more. Well, I got to do math. 1 down, 3 to go. That's pretty. Look how shiny that gets. Eric, I want to thank you for letting us come in and show us what goes on in your shop, because at the house that we're doing, the big remodel with the super high expensive fireplace, to connect the addition, that we have a wheelchair ramp and a step. So we had Eric come in and he is custom making the entire rails in the house, and we've learned that we need to add 1 more section of railing. So he's showing me how he makes these rails. So this is the template that you put together. That's right. Here's what they look like when they're all done, because she wanted these squares, and we have them on the front of the house, the railing, outside on the deck, but now we're gonna have it where it joins up together. But tell me what you've done here. This is
a solid piece of brass that we've put in the mill, and we've taken out where we want to be able to set the parts. That way everyone comes out exactly the same. And brass is a non-ferrous metal, so when you come in and weld, the weld will not attach to the brass.
Interesting. So if you pull this up, show the people what the fitting, what you've created, the template for it. So that right there is what gets you this look. That's fantastic. I had no idea. I just thought you had little squares and you welded them on there. Right in here.
Small pieces of that 1/2 inch.
Right in there. And this looks, so this is a true custom railing that we've put in the house. Curved stairs, so we'll show you pictures of that, how it all came together. So once again, I'm glad we found you. We'll definitely keep you in business, because once people see some of this cool stuff and that they know the craftsmen are available to do it, we're calling you, Eric.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, now I gotta show my wife, probably a hood. We want a big fancy hood. I find this extremely fascinating because all I get to see is the beautiful finished product. We meet, talk about what you need to do, you take your measurements, and then you work here in the shop, and then it comes out, looks fantastic, like the hood and our railings and these doors. So this is not as easy as you make it look, but the viewers, I hope they appreciate what's going on. We will definitely show you as Eric will continue working. He's just got to put the inside strip on here, right? Yep. Or they call that the stop for the glass. And this will be one huge hunk of glass weighing about 200 plus pounds.
Correct.
Right, and so this will be one big sliding glass door. This will be going in FLAIR'S lower level, and we'll show you the finished product once it's all done. So thank you for letting me use Joe's gloves.
No problem.
I'm gonna shake you with the dirty glove because I'm already dirty.
Yeah.
Enjoy the donuts from Connie. There's more where those came from. All right, and I got more jobs for you coming too.
All right.
All right, hey, thanks
Good
a lot.
deal.
Here, there's a clean handshake. All right, thanks, Eric. That was a different episode. I wanted you to see the behind the scenes of what it takes to do some custom iron work, and that's the first time I've been at Eric's shop. He's done a lot of work for me. So if you like this kind of stuff, please let me know. Please always like and subscribe. Check that thumbs up box. I appreciate that. You will definitely see the finished product. You'll be so impressed with this massive sliding glass door we're doing for FLAIR. So I'm Brad the Builder. I'm off to the next job site.